Greg Carson, former player of the Nighthawks and alumni from 1993 to 1997. Also proud member of the first Cyclone Taylor Championship team in Beaver Valley. You're listening to Hawk Talk with hosts and alumni Ross Simner, Jake Morissette, and Connor Jones. Enjoy the show, folks.
Welcome back, all of our faithful Hawk Talk listeners. Episode 13. It's our holiday version. We got quite the show for you here today. It's been a busy time and trying to get everyone together at the same page. These guys are touch late today. Eastern time it's 1:37, I think they say. But we got Jake over there who's hasn't even had his dinner yet, said, but he's gonna go and fire it up tonight in Wales. Jakey, how you doing?
Yeah, doing good. Hoping we can run through this. I'll get out on the town or probably watch some Netflix after.
Absolutely. Well, Connor has the best New York haircut, but hanging out in Buffalo for the weekend in what's looking like a very standard hotel. How you doing, Con?
I'm doing good. Jake's got the pregame going right now. He's got his drink, I'm sure, just getting ready to shut this off and get out there. But great to see you guys.
So we got arguably the smartest show we've ever had today, because we got Jakey, the beautiful mind over there, and we got our guest here, Kevin Limbert, Yale grad. We might be pretty smart guy, Car. We might be able to loop here with logarithms and all these, sigmas and shit going around our heads here. But we're gonna dig into our guest here, BV, kind of local legend. But if if you look this stuff up, it's pretty awesome. Junior career he had, then on to Yale, which we're gonna dive into. Kevin, how you doing, man?
It's awesome. Great to be here. Great to chat with you guys.
Right. So you're in Fruitvale right now. You're on Fruitvale Standard Time, as a bunch of our listeners.
Yeah, no, it's back here in Fruitvale. Unfortunately, not as much snow as I would have liked. Pretty dry year. Not a whole lot going on. Looking forward to hitting the slopes, but don't know if it's in the cards yet.
So usually we get into this stuff, and like I said before, we all of us have our different sources. Jakey's got his sources. I got my sources. We throw stuff out, get questions. There was a lot of wow, Kevin Limbert, great guy. Any good stories, PG-13ish, even mature, very respected player. All the guys speak about how hell of a player you were. He had some fire in your belly, as Travis Harding wrote me. He said, I can't talk right now. I'm a little hungover because I'm on a hockey tournament with the kids. But he had.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I consider myself to be pretty fortunate. I mean, I played a year in BV, better part of a year and a half. At first year AP in, and then 4 years in trail. So I mean, to be able to play the better part of 6 years of junior hockey and in this area, live in this area with the fan base and family support, that's an opportunity that I don't know if a lot of people necessarily can have. I mean, Snaker, you spent some time here in BV and then had to venture out. Con, same thing, right? So to be able to stick in this area, it was pretty special.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I know for me it's similar. Obviously, it's cool growing up in the area and then playing for the team. What was it like for you? Obviously, your path to getting to the Nighthawks, and I think someone spoke to Toot and said you were in the West Kootenay skills development as you were trying over the team, and you made the team that year. And then, so just your experience getting to the team and how you enjoyed playing.
You dropped in a money grab, before they signed you. He's not paying building, and he's also paid West Kootenay development. So.
Yeah, no, it was a funny path to get into cap as a 15-year-old. That was the year I AP'd, but my dad signed me up for camp and didn't tell my mom, and she was furious. She tore a strip, went up and down the side of him for, I'm 5'7", $135, and she's like, "You can't put him in the cap. He's gonna get killed." And so I was playing West Kootenay skills, and I remember talking to Jonesy. I'm like, Jonesy, I can't be doing West Kootenay skills in the morning and then trying out at night. First of all, it's embarrassing. I'm doing West Kootenay skills. I'm trying to make this team.
Were you getting your orange slices at halftime?
Pretty much, man. It's funny. I was half the team that I was trying out against I wasn't trying against them, right? Because they were the vets and stuff, but that was part of what they did, is they helped out with the drills. And it's they're demoing the drills that I'm doing in this West Kootenay skills camp, and then 4 hours later I'm playing against them. Man, this is horrible.
Anyway, ahead of your time though, it's skill development. That's huge.
It was, yeah. I really honed my skills of firing pucks off the glass, so it's good.
So Limby, that year were you playing midget house and then with the Nighthawks, or was it midget rep back then?
So that was there wasn't a midget rep team in BV that year. I don't know. That was they hadn't officially amalgamated the two
Yeah.
hockey whatever, yeah, the associations. They were still separate, but there was no rep team in BV. So I tried out for the team, AP'd for whatever it was, I think about 15 games early on in the year. And then because there was something weird, and I don't know exactly the details of how it had to work, but because we were able to have a team, but still didn't have one, it wasn't that I could go play in trail without physically having a trail address. So actually my dad and I rented this small little shack right by the handy store. And yeah, we lived in trail for the winter, and just so I could play rep hockey, midget rep in trail. So it was, yeah,
That's
kind of
crazy.
a interesting experience.
You
It
actually
was,
physically live there instead
Yeah.
of just saying you
No
live
way.
there.
yeah, no, we lived there, and during the week, and we're basically walk to, my dad's a teacher, obviously, and so we walk up to school, and yeah, on the weekends come home and live back in Fruitvale with the rest of the family. But yeah, for Monday to Friday, we were living in this little shack in East Trail.
I got to get that deal.
Yeah. Now I know I've heard stories, but like your skating has always been like, hey, this guy's the best skater. He's one of the fastest Nighthawks of all time. Like, was that something you worked on as a kid, or like were you always like conscientious, or your parents or your dad? Like how did that kind of come about, or is it just kind of a talent you have?
Probably a bit of both. Like I definitely, this is before my memory, but like, my dad and his people who knew me when I was, playing like junior novice and stuff and just starting, like had a bit of a natural affinity just for skating. Like my dad was saying, he took me a little, first couple of times skating, and then all of a sudden, like I was going from just walking and chipping along the ice like most people do, and then like 5 minutes later I was like full on strides, like just skating. So there
Just
definitely was a
knee
little,
bend at 4 years
yeah,
old, eh?
yeah. So it just kind of just clicked for me and whatever else, but definitely worked at it over the years. Like, the can't maybe a shameless plug here for the Murray Price Power Skating School. Like I developed a lot of good edge work and a lot of good strides, right? So between his power skating schools and different activities, I mean, the backyard rink, growing up on a farm, had the rink, and with homeschooling as a kid, like I'd be on the ice every day, with my brothers and whatnot, trying to keep up with them, and then doing school at night when it got dark, right? So a lot of time on the ice for sure. Probably should have spent more time working on the stick handling, but you always have regrets.
We'll talk about the academics. Like, I mean, back then homeschooling was write yourself a report card, I'm guessing, right? So Yale was pretty simple, just ship it in. But as a teacher myself, now with so the first full season you played with BV would have been you're 16, right?
Yeah, it was 0304.
0304. So you had actually had a couple ex-Camera River Storm guys on that squad, Tyler Waycott and Ryan Riddle.
Yep.
Who I'll take full credit for getting them up there.
Yeah, you were the pipeline connection, hey?
The pipeline connection,
Okay.
you betcha. But like awesome squad there. You had, we talked with Franny and Harding about this a while back, but that's a pretty experienced group to step into. Obviously, you knew some of them from the year before when you were APM, but can we talk about some of those guys on that team that kind of how that team came together and some of the leadership and experienced guys you had on that squad?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you say, there was some pieces that came in. I think there was another, I don't know if he was from Campbell River, but I think he came from that team, was Cam Walter. I think he was.
Oh, Cam, he's a Riv boy.
Yeah, he came out there as well. So between the three of them, but so yeah, like older guys, experienced guys, that they brought some presence and some leadership. But we had a really big like local group too, right? Like we had Nick Corelli, and like obviously you talked about Hards already. We had Hanley, we had Ryan McConaughey. I think Hurdy was still there for a bit. Not James Comey had stopped, but Jericom was still there.
Right.
I'm not sure if he's Comey or not. We can flesh that one out later. But so yeah, there was a group of local guys too that really, I don't know, brought a sense of ownership to the team and a huge amount of leadership, right? Like it was, I don't know, probably in any team that I've been a part of, the healthiest balance of vets and rookies, right? That there was still that division of hierarchy and appreciation for the roles, but it wasn't like it was exploited or overused, or it became a bigger deal than it needed to be. It's like, these were the vets. They showed the way, and the rookies followed, and there was no overstepping on boundaries, right? Like, it was a really good atmosphere that way.
Such a good point with, you hear this stuff. I also say, like, I know there's teams that did it different ways, whatever, but there was never that disrespect. Like, you're all one team. There's never like, hey, you guys, like, wow, like, hey, if these guys are up here, on the bus making a fort in the back with freaking Jake and Dre, you're a rookie, go back there and make a fort. If you want to go play cards with, Mario, these guys, go play cards. Like, it wasn't like, oh, no, there was never those divides, which I think is such a culture of BV. I mean, I never experienced anything different when I went to Cam River my last year. It was, there was some of that stuff, and I stopped it pretty much right away. I said, we're not doing this here, right? But I think it's like you realize that in BV that is, that is something that it takes time, but also you learn from the people ahead of you. And when you're in that position, that's the way you treat it. No one messes around saying, hey, these guys are rookie. They got to do this. This is how it's going to be, right? So
it's a real like subtle shift, but it's really about how the respect is generated, right? Like, if you have a leadership core and a veteran core, that where it can go toxic is if they are demanding respect, but not and that kind of role that they should be in, but not conducting themselves on and off the ice with how, in a manner that deserves it. If they are, in everything they do, really towing the line and walking the walk, then it's really easy for that respect to be earned rather than demanded. And when the younger guys see that, it really is this kind of almost like a mentorship, and it becomes huge and really healthy to the overall dynamic.
It's almost subconscious mentorship. They see it.
Exactly.
They believe it. They know
it's such
it
a
works.
subtle thing. But if you're doing it correctly, it can be so beneficial to development, right?
Yeah, like even road trip stuff. I don't remember. It didn't matter who you're roo. It didn't matter if you're a veteran. It's just like, hey, like, keep these idiots away from each other that play, between the sheets up till 4 a.m. freaking, put them up. But other than that, anyway,
that must have been a 2001 thing. I don't remember that.
It really speaks though to, and back then I found, like, Limbert, you were 16 and Franny was 16 too, right? So, yep. I mean, they could go one of two ways. If you don't have good leaders and they're not making you guys feel comfortable, then you can't succeed, and you can't move forward. And I felt like for years, and it's still to this day, like, such a good job of having leaders in there that take care of your guys and teach them. And like Simmy said, it's that culture, right? And because it just helps you taking next steps.
Yeah, and that's what, like, I mean, you talk about like just the longevity of success in BV, right? And talking to different people as I've been involved in the area, and my time with the Smokies and my time coaching at BV and my time in hockey schools, all you ever hear about is positive things, and it always comes back to not so much the record, which is obviously a big part. We're here to win, obviously, but first and foremost is we're here to these are people's kids, right? And there's a certain level of trust when you're sending a young kid away from home to go play and live somewhere else. And when you hear positive things about just the culture there, that's what keeps things going. That's what keeps things moving over the years, and you don't have those blips, right? People want to be part of it. It's huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think with that culture is kind of where that success comes from. And when you played, I think you guys had a pretty good run there. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit, what that was like.
Yeah, that was one of the funnest playoff runs I've been a part of. I mean, the support of the fans was huge, but I think it was the first year they rolled out this goofy format with 3 leagues, and they had this round robin format.
Oh yeah,
I think it was the first year. It was a bit of a goofy one. It was us and the Suyas and Columbia Valley, and you each did a home and home. Yeah, then the best 2 teams at the end of that round robin style format just had like a 1-game playoff. And so we had each team back at home. Yeah, we had I think it was Columbia Valley. The fans supported us, and the atmosphere was great. I think you basically the fire marshal for the area turned a blind eye to the number of people we had in the rink a few times. It was definitely more than the placard on the wall would allow for. But
what's the placard say? 150?
I think it's I think it's is it like 300 or something like that? It's quite a bit. I mean, it was many. Like no, but like it's every seat was filled, and like you couldn't even get around. This is before they put in that Hall of Fame case and the Sud Shack and stuff. There was more room, and it was just like packed right back to the doors, right? It was so loud. So that's so fun to play in that environment. But the thing that sticks out the most was we came down to it and we were playing Asuyas, and maybe someone help me out with the name. I don't want to say goofball, but he kind of was the league commissioner at the time. He had his serious connections. What was his name?
What's that guy's name? I know who you mean.
Yeah, he wasn't
was it Olhausen?
Yeah, there it is, Olhausen, right?
Yeah.
And so he came up with this format, and it really definitely shifted the focus of the league towards the Okanagan. So we felt like we were kind of, getting a bit of the shaft and a little bit of adversity our way and favoritism towards, his baby moving forward. So anyway, we played them, and it came down to the fact that the last game of this round robin format was in Asuyas, and it didn't matter. Was it in Asuyas? No, I think it might have been at home. Anyway, it didn't matter the outcome of the game, because either way we were both going to finish 1-2, and we were going to play off at the final game. And I remember Hank saying that, beat them as badly as possible. Like, every chance you get, lay a stick on the guy. I don't care if we have 1,000 PIMs in this game. They're limping out of this building. Like, they are feeling every ounce of every bit of ice they get. And man, did we ever take liberties. We beat the hell out of them. And then we went back to Asuyas. I don't know if it was a one day turnaround or what it was, and we went back in Asuyas and we just spanked them. It was awesome. We won. I mean, winning at home is fun, but there was a certain thing to walk into kind of a situation of adversity and win on the road. I think, Colin, you and Kel were on that bus, weren't you?
Yeah, I remember. I think it was Hank coming out with a couple of flats of Budweiser after right by the Nighthawks sign by the rink. I was like, "This is the dream." Yeah,
so we had some road beers, but yeah, that was cool just to win that championship. We unfortunately didn't have a great showing at the Cyclone, but that was definitely one of my most memorable wins of playing, not even just in BV, but just moving forward too. That was a fun game, fun series.
We skip over a bit of the other junior stuff,
But just before we move on there, Simmy, like you would I saw your rap sheet. You would have loved playing that game against Asuyas, man. You'd have had 305 just in that game.
probably 2 or 3 snipes.
Yeah. Maybe that's the last thing we need. Now he's just going to talk about his penalty minute record for the rest of the time.
Single season leader, no big deal.
It's just a record that will never be broken, but not a huge deal. You had Kyle Dahlk had 289, but 43 games. Come on, I did 38 at 305. But I say, you know what? You can look up your elite prospects and how many views you have. I'm pretty sure they're all mine, but now I know Limbert actually was getting on there last night. So you must have pumped up my numbers, buddy. Yeah,
absolutely, man.
Hey,
facts
I appreciate
are facts.
That. It's gonna go viral after this episode. So obviously after the Nighthawks, the next 4 years, you go Smokies. There's a Smokies podcast, so we can, we're not stopping that bus leaving the parking lot. But then we get to Yale, right? How'd that come about? Like, were you always, obviously, you're play wise, some of that's but Connecticut, Yale, like you're a Jake Morissette caliber here for being the architect engineer, the Oppenheimer of Fruitvale.
Yeah, that's a touchy subject because RPI was where I wanted to go and I just couldn't get there. So yeah, I settled.
He settled for Yale.
Settled for Yale's a tough, eh?
No, that was like I was really wanting to go to a tech school. Like I engineering, like I'm an engineer now, and that's what I wanted to do in school. So I kind of naturally was gravitating more towards the tech schools, and it didn't really pan out. And there was a guy, Kyle Wallach. I mean, Con, you probably remember him from your days in the ECAC. He had been recruiting me for a couple of years, like my 17, 18-year-old year in trail. But he was at Holy Cross at the time, and he was trying to get me to come there. And no knock against Holy Cross, but I was looking for a tech school, and they just didn't fit the bill for what I wanted. So yeah, I was getting like a decent amount of attention. Had a really good 18-year-old year, and then I was still kind of hoping to get to like either an RIT or an RPI or Mich Tech or something like that. So I didn't really jump on any of these other opportunities, and things really started to slow down. Like my 19-year-old year, I don't know if I talked to anybody really. I was starting to think about, holy man, do I need to start putting together video clips and put out feelers and start kind of selling myself a bit more?
Like, it wasn't a bad, like, I mean, it looked like a good year. Like, was it just that you kind of not showed interest in other schools before that?
I think so. I mean, if they're recruiting you, you're kind of humming and hawing and not like, why are they going to keep coming back, right? You turned them down. And so in my mind, the right opportunity hadn't come up yet. And then it really started to, like I say, slow down as far as, conversations after games with college scouts. And I was getting a little bit worried and thinking like, do I need to put together a video clip in a package and just start sending it out? And then, right around Christmas time, like I think it was December 22nd, 21st, somewhere around there, my 20-year-old year, I'm starting to get a little nervous at this point. I get a call back from Kyle Wallach, who I hadn't talked to in about a year and a half. And he goes, "Hey, I just had a job change. I'm at Yale now. Do you want to come here?" I'm like, hey, that's a pretty interesting phone call. And so, I talked to my parents, and he said,
"Do you want to come here? Like, here you
go."
Or like,
I mean, we had developed a bit of a relationship, right? And I'd kind of said, well, I don't really want to come to Holy Cross. Just the academics didn't line up with my engineering desires. And he said, "Yeah, no, I'm here now, and would love to start some conversations and get things going." And the really cool thing was they had a financial aid package at the time. It wasn't scholarship like all the Ivies. They do financial aid packages. And he said, "You know what? The way the system is right now, it's probably going to cost you like 15 grand. Not going to lie, a year to come here, but we are completely overhauling our financial aid system. It's getting rolled out in like mid-January. Believe me, it's going to be good. I can't tell you what it will be, but it's going to be good." And so I just said, okay, let's talk to my parents. And we decided that was going to work for us. And when they overhauled the financial aid system, like it was a drastic reduction, because we were thinking 15 grand a year. Like, I don't know. That's
well, you get the big desktop computer out and you just go into the system and up your marks in bed, right?
Yeah. So no, it came together within like honestly 2 weeks. And it was awesome. It was a huge relief, and definitely freed up my mental aspect for the last, playoff run, the 20-year-old year, until my season ended drastically and very unfavorably.
Yeah, what happened in that?
We got to bring this up here. You got to kind of give us a little bit for the listeners out there, like kind of break it down here.
So play it in Trail. I don't even remember what game it was. We weren't being a contender. I think was it game 5?
Game 5 or game 3? It was
must have been
best of 5, best of 3 that we
must have been game 5. I don't think it was game 3. It must have been game 5.
Okay.
Unless they switched it. But anyway, the Vernon they pulled up these 2 goofballs as APs end of the year, Cal and Con, and that they were definitely added some depth to their team and kind of swung the balance in Vernon's favor. Bishop was scoring like an animal. Guy couldn't, anything he touched would go in the back of the net, and same with St. Denis. So we found ourselves pretty quick down 3-1 back at home. And what was it? Probably like 8 minutes left in the game, something like that.
There was a decent amount of time left, and Kellen crumpled pretty good.
Yeah, right in front of the scorekeeper's bench in Trail. We were just fighting for a puck, and just gave him a routine play, a little shove on the back, like I've done 1,000 times. And he flies headfirst in the board, sells it, rolls around. It looked like something from FIFA, to be honest. It was pretty embarrassing.
Classic.
That sounds like Kellen. That sounds like Kellen. It does.
Yeah, I probably gave him a pretty good shot. Frustrations were pretty high at that point. And crumbling the boards. I think it was Tyson or Maniego, I can't remember. Arm goes up, open palm,
probably.
CFB, season ender. Career ender.
This is where everything from not going to RPI because Jake Morissette didn't vouch, it all came out in that one play.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, Simmy, we didn't talk until we got to Quinnipiac like 3 years later. He was still on the grudge.
Still fiery.
I could kind of. I don't think the grudge is over back. It's still going on, Con. Like this is part of the whole process. Okay, kiddo.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. So then you go down the year after. I mean, I do got to talk to you academically here because let's be honest, you make the all academic team your first year. Like, did your marks just start slipping? Did you get a little bit loose? At Yale, you're all academic your first year, but I feel like just said it pretty much. I know how to study. Yeah, no,
it was a battle. I think things just got harder. But no,
that was kind of a bad day. You're at Yale, man. It's pretty awesome. Like student athlete at Yale playing. You're
still partying too much. That's what
partying way too much. Way too much time at Toads. But
Yeah, like Jake and RPI, too much Mr. Noodles at midnight, really, rocking it. Dorm moon stuff. But that must have been a pretty awesome experience, yeah.
yeah, no, it was really cool. Yeah, so many like really neat things about it. Like when I first got there, they were sort of on the upswing, but like I don't know, Jake, you can probably talk about what they were like your years before I got there, but they weren't really much of a contender. But the program was going in the right direction, and the timing was awesome. My first year, we had some success. We got into the national tournament, which I don't know if they really had been there in the last, I don't know, 5-6 years. And then things just climbed. Like there was buzz around the school, like, at an American school, especially like an Ivy League, which, a little more preppy, like the big sports are lacrosse and for us sailing. Sailing was a big one. Heavyweight. Like hockey, we were small fish, right? Like it was just kind of something interesting or kind of a novelty. And then we started winning, and the rink, like we filled the rink all 2009, 2010.
What an unusual rink though, too.
Yeah, no, it's called the Yale Whale. You gotta look up a photo to believe it, but it looks like a giant concrete whale, and seats around like
Look
4,000. Yeah, it's
you
pretty.
think the Saddle Dome looks weird? That's
Yeah.
that is.
So yeah, there's some buzz around campus, and I think it's about 4,000 or so in there. It's not a big barn, but really good atmosphere. And yeah, like the student section started filling up, and the rink started filling up, and it was cool to be part of that.
That's pretty awesome. So, are you still fairly connected? You go down. You get I love the logo. So if there's ever a hat available, no big deal. But yeah, you go down. You check it out. You still keep connected with them?
I do, yeah. No, I keep in touch. Kind of keep an eye on some of my teammates are still playing overseas. Couple in the K, couple in the Swedish Hockey League still, couple over in Austria. They switched over, so I kind of keep tabs on what they're up to and keep touch. Last time I was down was 2017. I went back for my 5-year. Took my wife down just to kind of show her campus and reconnect with some of the guys there and the coaching staff. But yeah, young kids now. It's pretty tough to get down there, so I think it might be a little bit before we get back down, but definitely would love to.
You just showed her the study hall, right?
Yeah, that's where I spent most of my time.
That's all.
So, hey, Limby, when after graduating and stuff, I mean, you moved back home, and you started coaching hockey pretty quick, right? Like,
yeah, no, it was that. So I came back in the spring 2012, and then started coaching fall of 2012. So it just kind of rolled right into it after a summer off.
Was that something you always thought you'd be good at, or something you'd like?
I think so. Yeah, I wasn't like, I don't think if either your dad or Dennis would have reached out and kind of put the opportunity in my lap, I don't know if I would have actively pursued it immediately. I assume at some point I probably would have, but yeah, I had kicked around, with Home of Champions before, and then CHS when you guys took over, and kind of had always been involved in that, and it was yeah, pretty enjoyable. And I think just at the junior level, yeah, I definitely clicked coaching that age group. Like the young kids are fun, but it's something else when you can actually coach hockey and teach hockey, not just kind of, there's nothing wrong with teaching skills and teaching fun and love for the game, but I enjoyed actually teaching the hockey aspect of it, which the junior B, I mean, there's such an opportunity, right? There's so much raw talent that it's a real opportunity.
Yeah. Well,
very, very raw.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, I mean, was it your last year coaching? You guys won the Cyclone and won the Westerns. So, I mean, you got another crack as a coach to kind of win.
Oh, you did get your ring, eh, Jakey?
I did.
You got one like us.
Yeah.
What was that like?
You got a Western, so I don't know if you do.
No, that's more of a tournament, so we didn't worry about that.
Yeah, no, that was actually one of the weirdest feelings in all my years of playing hockey and coaching hockey. That's the only time I've ever finished the season with a win where we still made the playoffs. It was weird, right? Like there's so many times you get through a playoff run and you get far and you have success, but ultimately you end with a loss, right? And there's still that kind of, I don't know, little painful aspect with things ending on a loss. And that was the only time that's never happened. It was like, this is weird, It almost left with like a what now feeling. It was really strange.
Where was it? So the Westerns, that was your last year with coaching, or was it your?
I started coaching. No, we coached one more. So I was 13, 14, 15. I coached about half a year the following year. After that year, things started getting busy family wise, and I remember talking to Terry and being really uncertain about like, hey, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
He was just
It's getting to
retired on
be-
the W, man.
Yeah. And he kind of said, well, I'll try it out. Let's see. I mean, if you can make any sort of contribution, let's try. And so I started the year that year, and ultimately ended up not coaching. I don't know. It felt really unsatisfying. I felt like kind of almost like a hypocrite, right? Like I'm asking my players nothing but the best and commitment and dedication to something that I myself am not able to fully commit to. It kind of felt strange that way. So it didn't really sit well. I was like, I'm either going to do this the right way and do it full on, or I just can't do it.
Yeah, that's pretty admirable. I mean, I think that probably everyone understood that, right? So that's we'll say that you went out with the W. We don't count that last couple skates. So it's good to be back at Fruitvale though. You playing with any of the guys? Like you are you connect with some of the guys you played before, probably minor hockey as well, all the way up.
Yep.
Quite a few guys around still.
There are, and there's people coming back and moving away, but this last year, I started playing commercial league. I dusted off the skates and started playing hockey again. So I hadn't I'd been coaching for a bit and hopping in some drills every now and then. I played in the Boxing Day Classic up in Roslyn every year, but other than that, I hadn't played any hockey since I stopped. So it's been like 11 years pretty much. And hopped in the commercial league draft this year. And
First overall?
No, you know who had first overall? It was,
Were you a sleeper?
I was I was the third, I think, something like that. But
Third overall?
Third overall?
Yeah.
You're not a sleeper. Holy.
Yeah. Well, it would. So sorry, I would have been. There was some backdoor dealings, but in order to the first overall was the guy. He's played for Nelson when I was coaching. So
they should have taken you, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, that's okay.
Just wear your Yale hat to the draft, right?
Yeah. Well, you know,
overall put on that. Why?
Pretty risky pick. You know, the guy hasn't played in 11 years. You never know what you're going to get, right?
That's awesome. Well, thanks for doing this, Limby. It was awesome hearing about your time with the Hawks and what you've been doing since, how you got there. So, no, really appreciate it.
No, thanks for the call, guys. It's been really cool to chat with you guys and
the
reconnect.
holiday edition, because that's when you signed. Got the call from Yale around December 21st. So we thought, just line it up perfectly. Give this guy good memories. It's been fantastic talking to you, man. We'll have to, get back to Fruitvale at some point and come watching the commercial league.
Yeah, you plug Simmy on those penalty minutes, he'll be all over you now.
Yeah,
Connor will edit it out.
Good stuff.
Fellas,
Good stuff, boys.
Connor, happy holidays to you as well, brother.
You bet, fellas. Enjoy.
Yeah. All right.
Merry Christmas,
Take care, guys. Merry Christmas, everybody.
See you guys,
Thanks
everyone
again.
in Hawk Nation. See you, boys.
Hi, listeners. This is former Nighthawks player and captain Morgan Peace from the 2017 to 2020 seasons. I hope you're enjoying the show. Make sure to follow us on social media at BV Nighthawks Alums and to visit our website at bvnighthawksalum.ca.